Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to this morning's worship service here at Central Unitarian Church on this beautiful, brisk, completely cloudless Sunday morning. It's good to be together for our Ingathering service for 2024. My name is Tom Lupfer, and I currently serve as the chair of the Endowment Trust Fund here at CUC. CUC is an inclusive community of all ages, which embraces diversity in identity, expression, and spiritual belief. We gather together each Sunday to find inspiration, hope, and renewal among this community of like-minded individuals. If you're visiting here today in person, please be sure to say hello to one of our welcome hosts. Do we have welcome hosts this morning, formally? There we go. And if you're visiting online, make sure to click the link provided in the chat and sign our guest book, providing us with your contact information. I invite everyone to stay after today's service for our annual Ingathering picnic, conversation, and connection here in this space. And as we prepare to begin our service this morning, we ask those of you in person to please silence your electronic devices. I do have several announcements, being that it's the first Sunday of the church year. So bear with me, here we go. As mentioned, we'll have our Ingathering picnic. We'll provide instructions after the service about how you can help us make this space work for the picnic. On Sunday, September 29th, we are joining UUs around the country by participating in a climate justice revival. Throughout religious history, revivals have marked periods of resurgence in people's commitment to their faith traditions. Classic American tent revivals took people out of the four walls of their church and into the world. They brought the community together and served as a galvanizing force for the future, often during times of great change or anxiety. In the midst of overlapping climate crises and mounting social injustice, we are in a time of great change and profound anxiety. And taking a note from those who've gone before us, the UUA Climate Justice Revival is meant to be a time to come together and recommit to climate justice. After the service, we will offer discussions and organizing around climate justice, and you will hear more about this in the coming weeks. Spiritual development programs. Reverend Andrée is going to offer a number of spiritual development programs this fall, including monthly Soul Matters sharing circles to explore our monthly themes in depth in a small group setting, monthly current event forums to explore current events from a UU perspective, and discussion groups for this year's UUA Common Read, Authentic Selves Celebrating Trans and Non-Binary People and Their Families. Full details for all of these programs are in the September bulletin, which was distributed last Friday. The Northern New Jersey Sanctuary Coalition is holding its annual gala on Sunday, September 22nd from 4 to 7 p.m. Full details about the gala are included in this week's e-newsletter, including links to purchase tickets. The deadline to register is September 19th. Motivated by the belief in the human dignity and inherent worth of every person and the need for social justice, the Northern New Jersey Sanctuary Coalition offers compassion, support, and accompaniment to persons seeking asylum and advocacy for all immigrants. Please consider attending this gala as a way to support their mission. And lastly, with the new year beginning, we are once again asking for volunteers to be coffee hour hosts and to donate flowers for Sunday services. You can find sign-up sheets at the back of the room after the service or in our weekly e-newsletter starting this Thursday. These sign-ups were on pause during the summer, so we are in urgent need of people for the month of September. Please sign up if you can. And now we're going to more formally begin our gathering. I ask you to turn to a person near you and offer them a warm welcome.
Our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. In a world that feeds on moral outrage, we are here to cultivate moral courage. In a time that prizes picking sides, we gather to draw a wider circle. In a culture that teaches us to get for what we give and to ask what's in it for me, we come to practice generosity and to remember we are all in this together. In the midst of life's bitterness, we choose to sing, to give thanks, to laugh together, and to be keepers of beauty, to offer a place of belonging for all who come in gladness and in pain, to resist the push to the next moment and the next, to slow down, to breathe more deeply, to feel a part of something greater. For this hour and in this space, let us be the change we wish to see. Come, let us worship together. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered. It's 360 in your great hymnal if you'd like, or the lyrics are up on our screen. And I am going to invite forward, not Dolores Connors, our president, as in the order of service. She's unfortunately running late, but I'm going to invite forward our vice president. Where is Elizabeth Stewart? Elizabeth's going to come lead us in our chalice lighting.
We light this chalice to remind us of our dreams. Our dream to nourish hearts, mind, and spirit, to work towards a better world for all, to embrace the whole of our human experience, to honor our past and our gifts of the present, to create a community where each of us may find healing, transformation, and hope.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you again. I'm going to read a fable called The Cracked Pot. It's a story for anyone who's not quite perfect. Right. We are all perfect here. A water bearer in India had 2 large pots. One hung on each end of a pole, which she carried across her neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, while the other pot was perfect, and always delivered a full portion of water at the end of the long walk from the stream to the mistress's house. The cracked pot arrived only half full. For a full 2 years, this went on daily, with the bearer delivering only 1.5 pots full of water to her master's house. The perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, perfect to the end for which it was made, but the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfections, and miserable that it was able to accomplish only 1/2 of what it was made to do. After 2 years, what it perceived to be a bitter failure, it spoke to the water bearer one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize to you." "Why?" asked the bearer. "What are you ashamed of?" "I have been able for these past 2 years to deliver only half my load because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your mistress's house. Because of my flaws, you have to do all of this work, and you don't get full value from your efforts," the pot said. The water bearer felt sorry for the old cracked pot, and in her compassion, she said, "As we return to the mistress's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along the path." Indeed, as they went up the hill, the old cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wildflowers on the side of the path, and this cheered it some. But at the end of the trail, it still felt bad because it had leaked out half of its load, and so again it apologized to the bearer for its failure. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? That's because I have always known about your flaw, and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back from the stream, you've watered them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate my mistress's table. Without you being just the way you are, she would not have this beauty to grace her house." The moral, each of us has it got me a little bit. Each of us has our own unique flaws. We are all cracked pots. But it's the cracks and flaws we each have that make our lives together so very interesting and rewarding. We've just got to take each person for what they are and look for the good in them. And there's a lot of good out there. Thank you.
We are not alone. Our lives are built on shared commitments, giving and receiving together. Our congregation serves as a place where we intentionally practice this shared living, interdependence in a culture that overemphasizes independence. One of the ways we practice our interdependence is through our congregation's finances, which depend on the generous contributions of members and friends. We pause each week to recognize this particular form of sharing, each of us giving what we can to support the mission and vision of Central Unitarian Church. Your financial contribution helps each and every one of us to grow, to serve, and most importantly, to live lives centered on love. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. Please join me in saying our dedication words that are based on CUC's mission statement. We dedicate these gifts in service of our mission to welcome all to a home of spiritual diversity that challenges us to become our best selves, to minister to one another in love, and to serve the greater community.
Now we enter into a time of meditation, taking a moment to share together the joys and sorrows of this community. This is something that we do each week as a way of caring for each other. I have a few joys and sorrows that were written ahead of time that I will share out loud. I will also read any joys or sorrows that those of you online put in the chat, so take a moment to do that now if you'd like. And then I'll turn back to this room and invite you to share out loud the name of anybody else that you are holding in your heart today. After that, we'll move into a moment of silence and a moment of prayer. But first, let us ready ourselves. Let us take a breath together. Breathing in and breathing out. Sharing this time and this space with this community, which is beloved by so many of us, many who have been here for years, some who are brand new, some who may be visiting us for the first time. We breathe together in this community as we enter into a space of holy listening, as we share and receive our joys and sorrows for today, Sunday, September 8th, 2024. For all these joys and all these sorrows, both those that we have spoken and those that remain unspoken, let us hold them together in our hearts with love as we enter into a moment of silence. Spirit of life, when we share what is most precious in our hearts, we invite others in. We invoke community. In a world and a culture that increasingly overemphasizes the individual and encourages us to distance ourselves from others, especially those we don't understand or don't agree with. In such a world, turning to each other becomes more and more vital. May we continue the tradition started by those who came before us of building beloved community as a way to make love more real in this world, something tangible, something we can feel, something we can enact. We can create a world of belonging, a world where no life is expendable, a world where all are valued, a world where all are free. So may be our task this day and every day. Blessed be, and amen. I invite you to remain seated for our next hymn, I've Got Peace Like a River. Each year, we engage in familiar rituals as a way to remember and reenact our most sacred values. Our water ceremony here at Central Unitarian Church is one of those rituals in which we and many Unitarian Universalist congregations observe on their Ingathering Sunday. This ritual reminds us of the importance of community and the value we place on it in a liberal religious congregation. It reminds us that our community is made up of the various contributions from each and every one of us, including those who came before us and those who are here today. It also reminds us of the diversity of experiences that we share together. The meaning imbued in our individual contributions, whether it comes from a sacred fountain at a far-off location across the world or a muddy backyard puddle, those both hold equal weight here. No person's experience is more vital than another. We bring them together with an insistence on equality, and we hold them together in love. And water forms the basis of this ritual because it reminds us it is essential to life. We each need it, and we choose to share it. As a community, we are actively engaging in the cycles of this living world, from clouds to rain to rivers to oceans, from birth to childhood to adulthood to elderhood to death. We participate in these cycles. And each year for us, this ritual remains the same. The people are what change the most. Some of us are missing, who were here last fall. Some of us we're meeting for the first time, or maybe we're just getting ready to know you. All of us are growing older, and all of us are learning from each other. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you, all of you here. Some of you have brought water from a place of meaning in your life. Some of you may have forgot it. Some of you who may be visiting us go, I had no idea this was happening today. That is okay. You all have a way to participate. I'm going to start inviting you soon, starting from the back and moving to the front, to come and add your water to our communal water up here. You're invited to then share a few words of the source of that water with us. Just a few words, please, just so we can hear where all this water is coming from. And for those of you that are here that don't have any water, whether you're new or forgot it, we have a pitcher of water here. And I invite you to just take some of this and pour it into our common vessel. You can just do that, and that is fine, or you could speak in the microphone and share what that water symbolizes for you. It could be a place that's important to you, a place of meaning. It's your choice whether you want to share or not. But I'm going to begin, as I do each year, I'm going to begin with some water that's left over from last year's water ceremony. Each year as we do this ceremony, I save the water. I sterilize it because we use it. I boil it and filter it. And I use it for ceremonies throughout the year. Baby dedications, new member ceremonies, other ceremonies that you see us do on Sundays. And what is left over, we use at the beginning of the water communion each year. It represents both the people and the cycles that have come before us. So I'm going to begin with this. And so Matt and Renee are going to offer us some music. And I'm going to invite you in the back now, starting from the back 2 rows, to come forward and contribute your water.
I have some, or not. I am placing symbolic water from our new home, 36 Bergen, where we don't actually have water yet, but we will soon.
I've just added some water from a brook that runs behind my house. It's the house I grew up in, and I'm back in that house. So to me, it represents a cycle, which cycle of life.
I had water from Minnesota, where I graduated law school. And it's lost. I don't know where it went, but I had it at some point.
Thanks. Good to see you. Congratulations. I just poured some water from the pitcher here, which symbolizes hope for me.
I forgot my water, but I'm glad to be back. It's been a number of years. I recognize some and some I don't, but good to be back.
I poured some water from my big cup here. For me, it symbolizes love because whenever I turn around, it's always full. So my fiance is always just filling it up for me when I don't know it. So, so it's just the love that I feel from him whenever I pick up my big full cup.
This is from ShopRite in Paramus, where I've been every week of the summer.
Thank you, Martha.
We were fortunate to travel to a lot of places this summer with family and friends, but this water it's technically from Bermuda, although I forgot to bring this to the beach. So it's from the tap of the bathroom on the cruise ship, but we were still in port at the time, so it counts.
Yes. Definitely counts. The next few rows, please come forward. Anybody in the middle few rows can come forward. We can start forming a line here.
This water is from a trip I had to Greece, and then this one was also from Italy.
That water was from my apartment that I loved to bits that I just moved out of, unfortunately, on the 1st.
Yes, my water is from the Iffy River in Dublin, my ancestral home. This summer. It was fun.
Yeah. This water is from Cape Cod, where I spent a lovely week with my kids and grandkids.
My water is from a stream by the Oradell Reservoir, where I walk almost every day.
My water comes to you, I thought maybe it would be the furthest away, in northern New York State, in Lake Chautauqua. And it was a wonderful 3 weeks, our first time that we had 3 weeks together as a family. And it's a place that you must visit sometime.
Invite us. We're all going to visit Bill and Carol at Chautauqua next year.
This water is from each of our homes.
This water symbolizes family getting together in Colorado. So it sounds wedding.
This water is from our home in River Edge, New Jersey.
Symbolic water from Mohonk Mountain House, little bittersweet for us, probably the last time. The 5 of us will be there together. So we have, if you haven't seen it on Facebook, the years of pictures with the kids and things like that. So, but looking forward to be back more and more again.
Hi, I poured the symbolic water. I was going to pour coconut water, but now that I know that it's reused, I decided not to do that. This coconut water came from Thailand. I didn't bring it, but it came from there, and it's a place I love, and I hope to go back to soon.
The next few rows, I think that's basically the front 3 rows, and anybody else who hasn't come, feel free to come forward.
My water symbolically is from Bar Harbor, Maine, Acadia National Park, and the Minnesota State Fair.
This water would have been from Unirondack, but Sue tested positive for COVID when we got there and we had to come home, so we spent the week imagining we were in Reunion Island, and so that's where this is from.
Thank you, Stu.
My water is symbolically from Long Beach Island, the ocean.
Thanks.
Our water is from our beautiful home in beautiful Ringwood, New Jersey.
My water is from my hot tub, which serves as a spirit of my life, my wife's life when she was here, and the other is from my cistern that I share with the squirrels, the birds, and the deer in my yard.
Our water is from Lovejoy Pond in Maine, where we find joy with our family and peace with nature.
And my water is from my home because home is where the heart is.
My water represents Brooks' Clan Monroe gathering, which was in Richmond, Virginia this year.
Our water is from our home in Teaneck, where we've lived for almost 44 years. And symbolically, it isn't real, but from Star Island, where we've gone for a long, long time and loved dearly.
My water symbolically is from the shower, because after the hot summer, I love the shower.
Our water is from our garden. It's rainfall that nourished our vegetables and our native plants.
My water is symbolically from the skies over Maine that rained on our vacation, that gave us a wet hike, a wet mini golf, but it ended up in Lake Hebron, which supported us as we kayaked around when the sun finally came out.
Is there anybody else who hasn't gone who wants to share? Okay. I want to offer a blessing for this communal water we have all shared today. May this water represent our community with all that we bring, from our most humble aspects to the most noble features of ourselves. May there be room for all, young, old, and every age in between. May we recognize the rainbow beauty of beloved community, from our universal similarities to the deep differences that we may never truly understand. May this diversity be a blessing that we both nurture and share, bringing more love into our lives and into this world. Blessed be. A few weeks ago, I was riding the PATH train heading from Manhattan to Hoboken. And I was in one of those cars with the advertisements on top. Most of the cars have them, but I was one of those cars where the whole car was dedicated to advertising one thing. And this particular car was advertising a luxury apartment building in Jersey City. There were pictures of the outside of the building, but oddly enough, there were no pictures that I recall of any apartments themselves. But there were tons of pictures of the amenities: a gym, a swimming pool, a restaurant, a movie theater, a rock climbing wall. And I was thinking, given the prevalence of remote work these days and our ability to have anything delivered to our doorstep, from food to prescription drugs to furniture, you could move into such a place and never have to leave home. Because everything was needed all in one place. And I was wondering, because I'm a minister and ministers wonder these things, what if we took out an advertisement on a train like that about our congregation? What would we advertise to invite people into religious community? How would that compare to this luxury apartment building? As I thought about this, for some reason, the first thing that came to mind to me is, because I am a minister, is that community is hard work. So when I first started thinking about this advertisement, the first things that came to mind were a little harder. They weren't as optimistic as a luxury apartment ad, because first of all, in a community, you have to leave the house. So that's the first part. And you have to interact directly with other people, other humans with all their perfect imperfections, right? And when we're in a religious community like this, we have to find common ground on money, on theology, on social justice issues. So community is really hard work. But for some reason, I don't think this would make a very compelling ad. Come to us, and it's a lot of hard work. But then again, an ad based solely on the challenges, the hard part of religious community, would be overly cynical the same way that a luxury apartment ad is overly optimistic, right? Because if you think about religious community only through its challenges, or luxury apartment living only through its perks, it would be similar to Alie's story, right? Considering only one of those pots, either the pot that's always full or the pot that's always leaking. But in reality, that water bearer is always balancing both pots, right? So there's always a positive side and a challenging side to everything. With a luxury apartment, with all of its perks, it can still prove to be a very isolating way to live. And similar with a religious community, with all its challenges, it's also nurturing all these flowers along the path. Support and care, learning and growth, belonging and inclusion, the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. And these flowers that are coming up along the path, they're more than just decoration, right? Just consider the events of this summer that all of us were witnessing. Ongoing wars that are threatening to escalate instead of end, multiple shootings, including an attempted assassination of a presidential candidate, a spike in COVID that continues to affect a lot of people's lives, even though we seem to be pretending that it's not there anymore, continued political rhetoric echoed by individuals online which promote hatred, division, and an insistence that things like compromise or changing your opinion is a weakness instead of a value. And in such an environment like that, those flowers are not only welcome, they're vital. Right? We need community in order to thrive in an environment like that, and in order to change the world in ways that we know is possible. We're right now witnessing a divide in this country. I talk about that a lot on Sundays. There's many ways you can consider that divide that grows deeper, in part due to competing stories that we have. In one story, we must value complete individual freedom above all else. We can shut ourselves away, keeping the world and people out. Can live in our own luxury apartment building, right? Nobody else's needs are our problem. That's their responsibility, not ours. And in this story, if you're not careful, other people are even expendable if it means deepening your own freedom and safety. Yet there's another story going on. In this story, we value community and connection, not at the expense of the individual, but precisely because of the individual. In this story, no human being is ever expendable, no matter how different they may be from ourselves, how different they may be in their identity, their experience, their ability, their needs. Community exists to help everybody flourish, no matter what they bring and no matter what they need. This latter story is part of what we practice in religious community. And when we have our Ingathering Sunday, we are invited into religious community. We're invited back in. We're invited into a space where no individual is ever expendable. All of us bring something to be valued, just as you did today. Even if we're all full of cracks, if you bring water that is more pure than the person in front of you, if you bring water from a more elaborate source than the person behind you, it doesn't make you more valuable than anybody else here. You're all valued, and everybody who comes through this door are valued because you exist. That is the community we try to practice here. We do practice here. We fail. We get up and we try again, but that's the community we practice because it's the community we wish to build. As one of our board members said yesterday during our retreat, I won't name the board member, we create inclusive community in an ever-changing world. Each fall, we reenact this ritual of our water ceremony to remind us of this invitation, this really vital invitation to religious community. It's a free choice. It's a free choice for us to accept that invitation. And it is also a free choice for us to share that invitation with others. And that's something we must continue to do in order to pass such a community on to another generation. Who do you know in your life that you can extend that invitation to? Take time this week to think about somebody and do that. Is there somebody in your life you can extend this invitation to religious community, no matter how uncomfortable it might seem to you? Even if you have to navigate those tricky questions like Unitarian, what do you do? What do you stand for? How can you take time to invite somebody into religious community? Invite someone to join in creating this inclusive community in an ever-changing world. Because not only might they need us, but we probably also need them. Because we need each other in order to create community. Otherwise, we're all just like that luxury apartment building in our sterile little cells, interacting only with screens and not with other human beings. We need to share. We need to keep building this community. And then next year, we'll again collect the waters for our blessing. And our congregation will again be different. Again, there will be some that we miss, and others we are just greeting for the first time. And all of us will continue to grow older, and all of us will continue to learn from each other. And so we will continue the ongoing practice of religious community.
Please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words based on CUC's covenant. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not our promise to each other, to act with grace, to hold each other in love, to serve this community and our world. This promise of the heart serves as a reminder of how we live together. May it bring joy to our collective lives.
And please rise for our closing hymn, We'll Build a Land. Our closing words are by Unitarian Universalist religious educator Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promise you've made to yourself about what you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction until we are all changed, transformed, and transforming together, becoming our best selves. Blessed be, and amen.
Amen.
Thank you to Matt and Renee and the CUC Chorus for all the lovely music this morning. Thank you to Tom Lupfer for being our worship associate, and for John and Phil for being on tech. Thank you to all of you for being here. Please do stay, one and all, for our picnic. Whether you brought something or not, it is all here to share. We need some help transforming the space.